Well, it was my wish to return to Paraguay. I had been there for 18 years before I came to Rome, and these were the first years of my ministry as a missionary, as a priest. So I had a special relationship with Paraguay, which I had with no other place in the world, including my own country, where I never worked as a priest. So I asked Father General to give me an obedience back to Paraguay after 18 years in Rome. It has been very healthy to be back into ordinary ministry, just working in formation with our scholastics, a small group of scholastics, there were 5 at the maximum. Then attending some chapels among poor people close by, and to see how much faith is lived out in circumstances where people have to struggle to find something to eat, to educate their children, to take care of their health, and how you find there really saintly people, very good people who served as an example. So that was very healthy. It was also spiritually very healthy for me to live beside an old man. He has been a witness to the martyrdom of our Spanish martyrs, Father Olegario Dominguez. He went to the beatification and then told us a bit more than he usually did about his time in Spain around 1935. So he was certainly a spiritual strength of our community and an important inspiration to all of us, including me. It's true that our nuncios, after 3 years or so that I was in the country back, he asked me a question about that possibility, if I would be ready to serve as a bishop. I said, look, I am very happy where I am, but I won't say no to anything the church asks of me. And then one day, out of a sudden, he tells me informally, it might be Ciudad del Este, and please come to see me soon, which I did, and then the appointment was already there. So I said yes, knowing a bit the situation. The diocese had gone through the process. I feel this as an appointment coming from the Holy Father himself. And I was confirmed in that when I met the Holy Father, and he said something that I felt very humbled about that, but he said, thank you for accepting. Well, so it came from the Holy Father, as it always comes from the Holy Father, but in that case, I think he had a personal knowledge of the situation. I never met the Holy Father before. I'd never met Cardinal Bergoglio. I had heard his name, read something about him and written by him, but that was all. This conversation in private audience of about 15 minutes, it had some content. He asked me, how do you see the diocese, what's the situation now? So I explained it to him, I had my points, I explained it to him. But what is even more important for me is his attitude. Just to sit down together without anything in between. He is sitting there and I am sitting in front of him, besides the side of his desk, not behind the desk. And then the way he talks to one, really it's if we were brothers. No? He several times said, I pray for you, please pray for me. It helps me very much. I feel that the Oblate formation I had helped me a lot and helps me a lot right now. For instance, this stress of being close to the people which induced me from the beginning to learn the local language, not only Spanish, but to learn the Guarani language, which is the second language of the whole country of Paraguay. Also, this attitude of many oblates to visit with people, to be there in their homes, to talk with everybody. The youth missions, which is a transformed way, a new way of doing mission preaching as the founder did. And this way of going where the church is not present normally. All this helped me a lot to be now also close to the people, being a foreigner, but they don't perceive me too much as a foreigner. And then, of course, the experience in leadership in the congregation also helped me a lot. I had seen many situations in many countries, so you can draw parallel lines and say, well, this is similar, and you have already an idea what could be among the possible answers. We learn of God's plans only in hindsight. We don't know them before. And as I look back in my life, and I have done that also 10 years before, 20 years before, I always discover that God leads. He prepares situations, friendships, also painful things that happen. And you ask, why does this happen now? And why does it happen to me? One of my best friends when I was a youngster died in an accident. Or this health issue I had, and other painful situations as well. And you ask why, but then in hindsight, a few years later, you see that this has been good for you, that God loves you, and in this way He prepares you for a new challenge. It's a huge area. On one side you travel more than 300 kilometers, and the other side another 200. Importance of trade volume and so on. It's the second, if not the first city of the country in a border situation. So that brings many challenges. One of the challenges is just through the border situation, there are many foreigners present. Some live there, and that is good because they become Paraguayans after a while. Others have bought land, huge amounts of land. Most of the rainforest is gone. Among these people there are also criminals who use that area for drug trading and production even of marijuana. Someone told me, and that is true, this is not a place where you have to wake up people to search for God, to live their religious experience. There is a lot of fervor in the people. The challenge is to live together in harmony and to find ways how all these groups can live but peacefully. And what I want to contribute as an oblate is that we become even more a very missionary diocese. Well, let me say it in 3 words, which I always would say. Prayer, community, mission. Prayer, our constitutions and rules ask us to give time to prayer. They speak of an hour of daily prayer in silence. And this is very important, especially today, where there's so much confusion and also so much activism. Prayer, then community, because we are Christians. We know that God is community, that God is love. And how can we preach about that if we don't live together, if we don't share common life? We don't live in families, but we live in religious communities. And through our life itself, we become a word to people. And then mission. The Oblates have to go out. They have to go to places where others wouldn't go. They have to be in contact with people, with other cultures, with difficult situations, not shy away from that. And this is nothing extraordinary for us. It is normal that we are missionaries of difficult missions. So this is a bit very summarized message, or short summary even, I think, of our charism.